Good morning parents and children. This morning I'm going to be showing you how to use J2E5 on the Just Too Easy service. So if we'll go into J2E here, we're going to go on the app that's called J2E5. We can see it there with the 5 in the circle. It's a great multimedia app, so if we click on it here, it will take us to that service on the J2 launch page. So at first it looks like it's a kind of word processing document, but it is far more useful than that. So I'll just start typing here. As you can see, I can type on here. I'll let you do a little bit of word processing here, but you may have noticed it said click anywhere to type, and the great thing with this program, unlike Word, is that we can just click on an area of the page and type whenever I want to. Now with this I can also edit and change the typing as well as I go along. So I've just highlighted the typing here, and the first things we can do, we can actually change the font. So if we go into that section there, it gives us some popular fonts first, but if I go down into the more fonts, click on that, you can see that we've got it by popularity of which ones they prefer to use. We can also look at it through A to Z, but if I keep on going here, you can see I've got roughly 992 different fonts to use. So there's a lot of options and choices for the children to use. So I've just choose one now. I can also change the font size. We can do this by just highlighting that there. We can choose the pre-provided numbers there, or we can put them in ourselves. Now I'm just showing that you can, if you make a mistake like I have there, you can press the undo button. That's the circle with the arrow back. See, I've done it again, making sure that when I highlight something, if I press my delete or my backspace, it will just get rid of all the text and typing that I've already done. But I can change it. I can make it bold, I can italicize it, I can also underline my writing too. So make sure I underline it, and you can see there, if I click on it and underline there too. I can also change the justification of my writing. I can make it so that it's in the centre, I can put it to the right, or I can justify it so that it will take it right to the edge. Okay. The next bit I will show you is we can give bullet points, we can number them. Okay. So that helps when we're doing certain things. We can also move the text across the screen using those. Now, one that most children will enjoy using is changing the colour. Now, I'm just holding on and clicking on there, and I can change the colour like that. If you just click on the areas, it will choose the colour. We can also highlight it, so again we can change the colour of that highlight in the background. So if we want something to particularly stand out, we can do that. We can also, if there's the option to with the text, we can fill it. We can also put a border around it, so you can see my border there. I can change the colour of that as well. So if I click on that little area there, again, I can change the colour of that border around it. So we've also got the option to round the sides, so we can change the shape of the border there. We can also choose a talk as you type option. If you've got a microphone attached or a microphone in your computer, we can also do that. Now then, if you want to move this around, we double click on it and you'll notice that it brings up these grey squares I've said. I can move that around. I can take the border off if I want to. I can also drag it and enlarge it as well. And if I click in the middle on that circle with the arrows, then I can move it around, and I can also, change the actual angle of it if I want to. We can also animate it. I'll show you that in a bit. So we've also got a general painting tool there. You can change the outline of what you're painting, so we can change the colour of it. We can also change the size of it. You can control it there and change the actual number yourself, or choose the pre-selected options. So I'll just change it so you can see it's a much thicker line that I'm creating there. I can also make it transparent as well. So you can see I could actually draw over words and not go over them by using this. I can highlight words in a different way. Now I'm using the line creating tool. Now I click once on the screen and then I can just move it across. When I click again, it'll end the line. Again, like previous ones, we can change the colour, the size of the line as well. If I want to move any of these boxes individually, I can choose that cursor clicker. I can move it around. I can also delete them if I wanted to by clicking on there and deleting like that. The little sort of basket, I always think of it as, it's kind of like a rubbish bin of anything that you don't want to keep. Now I will create a box on here. Now this is the same for rectangles, squares, ovals there, and circles. You get a few choices there. We can change the colours. We can also fill the box inside of it. We can change it as well. I've currently got it on a bit transparent there, so you can change a lot of different features there. Again, with these, we can click and delete them that way. Can also have a look into it, can zoom into it. It can arrange them as well. So we can decide on the position that it's in. We can make it equal size to others. We can align it. There's a lot of options there. As you can see my transparent one there, I'm just dragging it up and down. Leave that there. Now I'm just going to delete that box there, and I'm just going to create a quick square using this option here. I'm going to create 3 squares actually. So you can see as I start a new square, it goes over the top of the other square. Now this middle square, I can bring it to the front, I can send it back, all the way to the back. We've got all these choices to show how we can arrange them. Okay, so I'm just going to delete those so I've still got space on my screen. So I'm not going to go through the other shapes because they work in a similar way. We can also create shapes as well. So obviously we've got the choice of making 4-sided shapes and circles and ovals. We can actually create other shapes. Now once you've finished creating your shape, I've just right click there, click on our cursor button again, and we've got our made shape there. So I've just made a pentagon shape. We can give it a rainbow a border if we want to. We can take it off the border if we want. We can also change lots of other different parts of it. We can show the lengths of it so that we can work out what the perimeter is of the shape too. We can also turn it into a jigsaw too. You can see there I can pull it apart and I have a jigsaw. Now you can publish this so that people can have a go at your jigsaw, but I'm just going to undo a couple of times there to bring my shape back to normal. I can add a shadow there to it. Sometimes this helps the shape stand out. I can also lock the shape in position too, so I can't do anything. When I want to go back to it, I can then click on the unlock option there and I can now edit it again. And the final option there is our hide option. So if you don't want it to be seen on the screen, we can hide it. As always, we have the other options, but we can also, with all these options, we can add a link to it. So if we want to create a website using this, we can put different links in. So I want this to be a link to YouTube. I'll test it just to make sure that my link's working, so we can see the YouTube picture there, we can see the YouTube links, that works. We can also add sound to it, so we can drop sounds into it, so we can search for sounds that we've already created ourselves, find sounds on the internet, or from ones that our teachers or other people have lent to us or shared to us. So now that we're happy with that, we can go back to here, press OK. So when I publish this and click on it, it will take me to the YouTube channel. So an important thing here is that we need to click on here to save. Make sure we give it a channel, a good name. So I've put YouTube test here because I'm just showing this to test for you. Every time we want to save it, we need to click on there. Unfortunately, it doesn't save automatically. Okay. We can always go in here to load previously made J2E5 files. So I'll move on to the final option on there, and we have our curved shape. So you can see my curved shape. I click on each area as it draws a line, and it curves where the line connects there. So at each point I've clicked, that's the end of that. I'll just take this over here, try and finish it off like that. Click on here, finish it. And again, with this, we get the same options as the other ones, so we can change it into that rainbow way. We've got lots of different options to make our images that we create stand out. Of course, we've still got our undo button there, and that's it really for all the options on the right hand side. Now, we have got the copy option. And it's right now telling me that you can use Command C and Command V, or Control C and Control V for copy and paste. So I can now paste in that option there, so you can see that board there. That means paste. I'll undo that again. I'll move on now. So we'll move on. Now we've got our pictures. So we can see here, we can look at the pictures that are actually in our J2E file. So I'm going to look for computer. There's nothing available in my file, so I'll click on the world image. So that world image means that I can search it through a safe search engine and find different images. Now, there's the first computer I ever used. It looks very familiar anyway. And I can put that on there, and I can go in there. Or I can upload my own images. So if you're using a computer, a tablet, you can usually go into your photos or anything like that that you've got and upload whatever you've got to add on to this. So again, we can curve that, we can round the edges of it, we can put a frame around it, we can turn it into a jigsaw, we can change the colour of the frame too. There's always lots of options for us to use these. This is a great way of adding links as well to move it, to take the image to more information. We can also animate it, so we can change the options, so for it to appear. There's lots of options here. And we can change the trigger, so the trigger is what makes it happen. Okay, and then we can always change the duration, so how long you want it to last for, that animation. Go into here, we've got more shape options here. You just drag them across if you want to use them, and like previously, we can see all those options are there again. So again, that rainbow option, and changing the colour. So we can also use word lists. So if a teacher has made a word list available to you, but there is a library of word lists for you too. So this is just to help. There's also some symbols made available for you if you need them, because sometimes the commands on a keyboard can be quite complicated, or they might not be available on a virtual keyboard on a tablet. We've also got measuring tools, so you can see here I've got my ruler. You can drag it across here. When we let go of it here, we can also make it rotate to find angles. So right now I'll just put it on the edge of that 0 there and let go of it, and there I can now measure that side of my shape. So just So we've got a protractor and also a compass there. Just press undo to get rid of it. I could have also deleted it, but there are lots of options there, as I mentioned. We've also got other boxes that we can put in here. We can put lists, we can put radio signal ones. We've got a lot of options in here. It's a very robust system, the J2E5, and allows you to do a lot of different editing. We can also make links to videos, audio, everything we want. We can embed it as well. So if you find a YouTube link that you want to include in this, you can do it through here. So now we'll go on to inserting a table, so we can choose how many columns and rows we want. Once we're happy with that, we can insert it in there, drop it in. We can also add information or download the actual table that you've created into an Excel document. We can also add charts. Now you can see that I can change how it reads it. I can give it a particular name if you want. It's obviously important to give it a clear name. Now I'm just going to get rid of that bit at the end there. Press OK. Now obviously we can see that mine has no information in it here. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to create some data in here. So I'm going to create one that's all about tech that we use. So I'll put a tablet in, a laptop, and finally a desktop computer. These can be my choices on here. And once I've typed that in, I can go down to the side and which classes I'm asking. So I've got my year 3 and my year 4. I can type the information in there. So I'm just making this up. And now that I'm actually clicked on here, I can make sure and go up to my chart and click on chart there, my chart. Make sure it reads it in rows first, and now you can see that it's a chart created from that data that we've just created there. Now obviously I didn't give the chart a name there, but it's very important so that they can see the information, the data that we've got that's created. As always with J2 programs, we can share it with somebody, we can also publish it. Depends on how private we want to make it, we can give it a password. We can also have a conversation with the teacher as well about this, so I might leave comments on children's work on J2E, so they can respond to them there, and that just shows what version of it it's running. And of course with anything like this, just press the save option and everything will be done again. Now we can also add more pages to this, so we can actually create a book using J2E5. So you can see now I've pressed that plus at the bottom there. If I want to go back to the previous page, I click on that. I can also, after saving it, view what this will look like to anybody looking at my piece of work. So if I click on view, and that is what my page looks like when I'm finished. So click edit again, I can go back to editing. Well, thank you for watching this video. I hope this has been a big help to you all. If there are any questions, always feel free to email me. Thank you all. Bye now.